Well, good evening and God bless you and welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Nice to be with you again.
Yes, James, you're looking great today.
And as great as you look today.
Happy to be with you.
Likewise, and such a great day for us to be able to address our community.
Yeah, we're here today to do that.
In the Indianapolis area. And our show is sponsored in part by attorney Nathaniel Lee and Fairman. You can reach them at 317-631-5151. You'll also be able to see that on the screen. Also, the Fervent Care Christian Academy at 317-898-2751. And we're also excited about one of our newest sponsors.
The Stewart Mortuary Incorporated, a long-time Afro-American business that has been in business over 50 years, I believe. You can reach them at 317-925-3000 for your bereavement needs. They'll be right there to take care of you.
And they've done a tremendous job in our community over a number of years.
Tremendously, they've done a tremendous job doing and servicing our community well.
Yeah, and we want to thank you for joining us on today and watching the show. 5:30 is on Sunday and at 11 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday evenings. You can also go to our YouTube channel.
Right.
And you can watch this show over again. We know you want to do that.
Yes.
Or you can watch shows that perhaps you might have missed. We had a great show lined up for you today. You know, Dr. Moore, this has been one of the most violent or headed towards being one of the most violent years in the Indianapolis community since last year.
We're going to be talking about that today, and we're going to hope that we can add some input and maybe make our community more aware of what's going on, that they might begin to react differently about certain situations in their community.
Yeah. So stay with us. It's going to be a great show on today. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm Pastor James Jackson.
And I'm Pastor Wayne Moore.
And Dr. Moore, lots going on in communities across America. A lot of issues are somewhat the same.
Right.
In Indianapolis, for the last 30 plus years, we average 8 to 12 homicides per month.
Right.
It's a whole lot of people.
Right.
When you add it up disproportionately. Most of those are black folks who have been killed.
Right.
The President administration have been doing quite a bit to try and get those numbers to go in a different direction. 50 or more people have been killed in Indianapolis so far. A few weeks ago at your church, there was the gathering of numerous community leaders, including government, faith leaders, and quite a few others, to talk about a 120-day initiative. Your thoughts?
We have to start somewhere. I think that if we start with a concise plan for a certain amount of time, and then as we develop that concise plan in a certain amount of time, you can extend it. Hopefully what we can do in 17 can be utilized in 18 and then modified in 18 to prepare us for 19. To eradicate homicides is a difficult issue, but you have to have a plan to do that. And I think the plan is being in constant contact with community leaders. Not only community leaders, but you have to be in constant contact with people in the neighborhoods. And if you can do that, I believe that with a concise plan, with concise conversation, with conversation that people in the community can deal with, I think you can see a gradual turn in the rate of homicides being reduced.
Yeah. And there are several plans that have been put together by the Mayor Hogsett administration, Joe Hogsett administration, to try and make this happen. The Indy POW Club, or the IMPD or Indy POW Club. News came out that they're re-energizing their efforts with cheerleaders and football for younger children, which I think that's great because years past, the POW Club was an initiative that helped to prevent a lot of criminal activity, especially among juveniles.
Right, and many people that I grew up with, and possibly you grew up were touched by the Power Club. I mean, Dr. Green of the Concerned Clergy and myself have always tried to boost and push the Power Club. The Olivet Church has done major work with the Power Club. But it does not suggest few dollars to help the Power Club. I mean, we need millions of dollars to pour into that program, and it needs to be part of the City County Council's agenda to make sure that this Power Club organization, and I know that's not the way it's usually done, but the city needs to speak about this. The neighborhoods need to speak about this, and if we can get these Power Clubs going, we need more than cheerleaders and football teams. We need after-school programs. We need effective summer programs. We need a lot of things that can come through the Power Club in other areas. And so it's more to it than that. And if you don't have anything for a kid to do during the summer, they won't do anything but get in trouble.
Yeah, true. And I was hoping that subsequent to the gathering that we had at Olivet, which included government, the faith base, and some other groups, that there would have been inclusion before the press conference that the Mayor Hawks had, that, in my opinion, excluded the faith community. Media was represented, government was represented, but I didn't see any faith leaders there to talk about the IVRP program, which, for those of you who might be viewing, the IVRP program is a lever-pulling program. It's a crime prevention program that was utilized back in the 90s.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. It helped to reduce crime. But I didn't see the inclusion of clergy or faith leaders in the press conference. I think that was on June 12th, the media release.
It's yesterday.
Yeah,
June 12th. Yeah, and well, you know, some people do things, some administration do things, they do things differently. I look at it in this instance, if you don't call us now, eventually there's going to be a period in time where we'll be called and all of us will be able to participate. We cannot win over the homicide rate with exclusion. People come together and they disagree in certain aspects of things, but that doesn't mean that we're not trying to get a job done. This seems to be difficult for a lot of people to understand. Just because a lot of us are not on the same idea or the same page at this particular time doesn't mean that we can't get there, because the homicide rate still exists. And we're right in the middle of that 120-day burden of the city to reduce crime. It's a burden. To me, it's a burden.
Certainly it's a burden, and where our young people are concerned.
Right.
Some 30,000 employable youth in the city of Indianapolis. The Hawks Head administration, along with other partners, were able to pull together about 2,000 jobs with the Project Indy initiative. That's helped a lot of young people. Certainly there still needs to be a lot of employers to come on to that to say, hey, we've got some jobs. And for those of you who are watching, if you own a business, you can go to projectindy.net and become a partner to make sure that there are jobs for young people, particularly in the summer. But with 30,000 employable youth, and
or more,
it's
really
probably
more.
Than that, and you have about 10% youth unemployment across all ethnicities across America. Those numbers significantly increase with black youth, 17% or more, where black youth are unemployed. Is this something that continues to be a part of the crime problem, or are there other things that we need to look at?
I think the job issue for young people is part of the issue. You and I have worked in a jobs program for the last 3 years, and we have been told statistically that juvenile crime has been reduced during the summer months when there are summer jobs. And all entities need to be applauded for that. But not only that, after the summer, what will these young people do? Yes, they go to school, but some of them need to have resources. Some of them need to have the responsibility of working and doing things to make them a better person. And so that was my goal. It was to hope that the mayor's office would create a year-round jobs program, create an employment office inside of his office where we would have people who would work under his jurisdiction that would recruit jobs all year.
I remember you saying that.
All year long. And kids can work after school. They have a job all year long. And, but, you know, it's a strategic plan. It's not a popular plan, but it's a plan that will work.
Yeah. And when we come back, we'll talk more about how we think our city leaders
right.
And the philanthropic community and the business community and the faith community can all come together and make that happen. Stay with us. We've got much more to come. And again, you can go to our YouTube channel. And if you've missed a show, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. You can watch this one over again. Also, we want to thank our sponsors. This show is sponsored in part by attorney Nathaniel Lee. Lee and Fairman. If you need help, they can help you out. Fervent Care, Christian Academy, and the Stewart Mortuary can all help you in your time of need. We got much more. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back. I'm Pastor Wayne Moore. Thank you for viewing Real People, Real Voices. I want to reconnect you with our sponsors, Lee and Furman. If you need some legal need, see that attorney's office, and Fervent Prayer, Christian Academy, and Stewart Mortuary be right there to help you. Well, James?
Yeah, well, speaking of helping and helping people with their particular needs, our city certainly needs help in the area of public safety. You know, when it comes to local governments, whether Indianapolis or any city across America, public safety is the most basic responsibility of any local municipality.
And I hate to, I don't want to cut you up, but you worked in public safety.
I did.
And I hear public safety, I've been hearing it for the last 10 to 15 years, and the problems that public safety have. Can you tell me, is it fixable? And what would be some, that from your aspect, do you think it would be fixable, and how can it be fixed? There's a lot of money that is poured into public safety, millions and millions of dollars, but yet every year it is a primary issue. What do you think the problems are?
Well, you got to have continuity, in my opinion, and what I have seen, and as a result of pastoral oversight, every 4 years, you have either the same mayor trying to work on the problem and maybe will nearly get it fixed. But after your second term, if you don't get reelected, a new administration comes in. Every new administration, whether it's a mayor, a governor, or a president, generally wants to do their own thing. And so you kind of start over and you redo. It takes about 3 to 5 years or more to change any situation. When it comes to public safety, you have to set things in place that can outlive your administration. And I don't see that happening in Indianapolis, where I've looked at, and I've been looking at this since the Peterson administration, which Mayor Peterson had some great ideas, Mayor Ballard had some great ideas, and Mayor Joe Hogsett has some great ideas. But unless there's continuity, unless you codify these initiatives in the law, as you said, the city council, the Bible says there's safety in the multitude of counsels. So if we extrapolate that as a principle and apply it to the city, then the responsibility for public safety is on the city's council.
Okay.
So there needs to be continuity.
Continuity. Okay. The new program that we're looking at today, show me the continuity.
The new program as released by the Hogsett administration. Well, this administration is going to be focusing on 4 things. 1, information sharing. As we understand it from June 12th, and this was released for Indianapolis. So you have information sharing, which involves initiatives to share investigative information and intelligence across units, even down to the street officers and so on. Okay. So you have Chief Roach and the police department involved and the collaborative efforts there. Secondly, community district resource councils, which is the IVRP or the lever pulling to try and fix the situation. And then thirdly, you have engaging young people. And then, of course, you have violence preventative messaging that will happen through the media.
What do you think about that continuity?
I think it's good. It has worked in the past. It has proven to work. I'm hoping that it's all inclusive.
Right.
That's my concern.
Right.
That it's all inclusive, because when you're the mayor and all of those who work for the mayor, you're mayor of all the people, whether
Right.
you're Republican or Democrat, independent, libertarian. All of the resources that you can pull in, all of the talent that you can pull in, all the folks that you can pull in to make sure all of this happens is critically important.
Right. Okay. So that will help bring about the continuity.
Oh, absolutely. It will work.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see in a short period of time, because this has worked in the past and it's working in a lot of cities. I think you'll start to see some improvement. In the late 1890s, then Superintendent of Police Chief Superintendent Colbert, in the late 1890s, he talked about the patrol officer. And he said that the patrol officer ought to roll over his beat like a wheel and know everything there is to know about his beat or his community or his or her neighborhood. And these initiatives here, information sharing.
You can stop right there.
It will help you to know.
Yeah, it will help you to know, but we have a severe, people don't like to deal with the reality of it. We have a severe problem in our community with trust for law enforcement. And so you're not going to get much information if there's not much trust there. So,
but that can change.
That can change. And it changes by the idea of you having as many people at the table that you can to make sure the communication begins to come forward.
And I think that's so critical. I mean, you're the president of the Baptist Ministers Alliance, one of the oldest civic organizations in the city of Indianapolis. And there has been times where I think that there has not been enough dissemination of information to you and your group and some others.
Right. Right. Well,
in my opinion.
Well, that's okay, because eventually, when you're out there doing what you can do, and you're doing it for the right reasons, it's about servanthood. It's not about who gets the credit or who confiscates somebody else's program to make it their program. It's not about that. It's about doing what we can to make Indianapolis a better city and reduce the crime rate in our city. And being in leadership for over 30 years, when everybody's working together, people understand that the mayor deserves credibility for that.
Yeah.
He deserves to be rewarded, and he deserves the accolades when everybody are working together. I've been leading long enough to know that when you lead, those who, there's more ants than there are elephants. And so eventually that mayor will receive his just dues if he's doing the collaboration that he needs to do to make Indianapolis a better city.
Yeah, at one time, Bill Bratton, considered to be America's top cop or top police officer, in his book, Collaborate or Perish.
Right.
He talked about that collaborative effort.
Right.
But you have to put your personal feelings aside and stick to the business of the people.
Right.
So stay with us. We've got more to share. We've got the rundown coming up with a very special guest. Faith got promoted on her job.
Well, let's applaud Faith.
So yeah, she's not here on today, but she'll be back with us when she can. But we have a very special guest for the rundown. So refresh your coffee, reheat your tea. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm Curtis Baker, the marketing director for this show.
And joining us for the rundown.
And I tell you, you know what? I've been sitting back there, folks, watching this show for it's been 6 months, almost a year?
Yeah.
I've been on that side of the camera watching this show take place. And I'm thinking, When are they gonna put me on?
Well, today is your day. Today is your day. Today is your day. Happy to have you, Curtis.
So someone had to be promoted for me to get on the show, which is a great thing. And I know Faith, in her absence today, I'll try to do her justice to do the rundown.
Okay.
So if I stumble along the way, just put me on the other side of the camera again and put me back in the rotation.
No problem, Curtis.
We're always glad to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
And thank you for all of your work and
Everything you do for us.
helping to make this happen.
Well, thank you.
And the work you do in our community.
Well, you know what? I must say, with this show, you guys have done such a tremendous work even before the show started. And I think since you've been on, what it does, it just highlights and showcase some of the things that you guys have done and some of the people who you bring on. It just showcases what this community can really do and what are the best things that we have to show here in Indianapolis and Indiana.
Yeah.
Central Indiana.
Central Indiana. Yeah. I tell him that all the time, but I get it.
and as far as the show is concerned, in the first two segments, we talk about the problem that Indianapolis and other cities like ours is having with crime, the youth, and all that sort of thing. From your perspective, and what the young people hear on radio, what they are exposed to in social media, what they watch on television. Some say that it has no effect. Your perspective with regard to media?
Media has a tremendous responsibility, and if they think they don't, they're wrong. And trust me, my background was in radio at the beginning. The music that you play, if you do not think it does not have an effect on young minds, then you're fooling yourself. Record labels, the record industry, if you think about it, now, nothing wrong with hip-hop music and rap music. And there's a lot of good hip-hop and rap music, but you don't hear it on the radio. What you hear on the radio is the negative stuff. I mean, anytime you have to beep out every other word of a song, then why do you do that? Why is that positive? And don't get me started on this, but I'm a big advocate of putting positive things out there. And even if you look at some of the shows on TV, everything that gets the attention is, I got to throw a cup of water on you, I got to call you the B word, I got to do all these things, and that has an effect on a young mind. If you're just getting that sort of thing going on, we don't have a lot of time for this.
Yeah. So we'll let that,
have a lot of time to talk.
And we'll let that be the last word.
Right.
That might be a show.
It is a show.
Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.